In 1939, Winston Churchill said, "This is no war of domination or imperial aggrandizement or material gain, no war to shut out any country of its sunlight and means of progress. It is a war viewed in its inherent quality to establish on impregnable rocks the rights of the individual, and it is a war to establish and revive the stature of man." 83 years later, after valiant attempts, many in vain, to uphold international law, this is where Ukraine finds itself with Russia's invasion. Without any plausible casus belli, employing a massive use of military force against civilians and the attempted hunting down of a legitimately elected government. Lamentably, the stance by our government, tardy, contradictory, placatory, and wet, now makes us party to a 19th century playbook on imperialism. A push to establish empire by any means, however brutal and destructive, and augmented by the methods and tactics of the KGB, Honorable Zulu. As in all wars, lies abound, and the grand lie that liberal values create the basis for the conflict of civilizations chimes well with this government and its communist allied party. It is a view that resonates with our government, defined by venality in its cozy relationship with Putin. And so to those who have spoken before, to appease and apologize to those who have attempted via much whataboutery, Honorable Sheikh and Hendrikse, to absolve themselves of a clear moral obligation, we say there comes a time when we must confront the current evil with a view to establishing an international order that says never again, and that uses this moment as a benchmark to address all transgressions, many of which in the past were unfairly predicated by might and the protection of spheres of influence. To the ANC and Honorable Zulu, tardy as they are now and tardy as they and the SACP were in support for the war against Nazi Germany until Mother Russia entered the fray, and who are now complicit by virtue of an absence of a clear denunciation of Putin's imperialism, best you listen, because there comes a precipitous moment in the life of every nation that calls for courage and honor. Do the right thing. The world is watching and history will judge. Infantile references apart, from an economic perspective, South Africa exports more to Swaziland and Lesotho than to Russia. So Honorable Mahumapelo, who was fired from his province, be Putin that in your samovar and drink it. You have been schooled by Steenazianism, which is an ascending philosophy. Now go and do the right thing, for God's sake.